Chapter 1. You are listening at famvetv.info. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios Blue Planet, Huaxia, Snow Ridge Spruce Reserve. In a cave somewhere, two adult female wolves were guarding a nest of newborn wolf cubs. Among this nest of gray and white wolf cubs, there was a snow-white wolf cub that stood out. It was Su Ming. At this moment, Su Ming was looking at his wolf claws and silently pondering that Su Ming was once an ordinary white-collared worker. However, one morning, after working overnight, he suddenly fell into a coma. When he woke up again, he realized that he was already unable to open his eyes. No matter how hard he tried, he could not open them. At first, Su Ming did not know what had happened to him. He had been hesitant and afraid. Not only could he not open his eyes, but even his ears had completely lost their function. Every time he wanted to shout for help, a moist and smooth tongue would constantly lick his body, as if it was comforting Su Ming. Only today could he finally open his eyes and see and hear the world. A comfortable feeling spread from Su Ming's body. He had never realized that his body was so good. However, when he saw the grayish-white wolf faces, Su Ming was stunned. He looked at his body and finally confirmed that he had reincarnated as a wolf. Anyone would feel a strong sense of difference from a human to a gray wolf. Su Ming was no exception. Not only had he lost his human identity, but he had also lost the life he could enjoy as a human. Yes, compared to the daily life of a beast, the life of a wild gray wolf cub was clearly more dangerous. In the absence of humans to raise them, the survival rate of a nest of gray wolf cubs was only 50%. Fortunately, Su Ming had nothing to worry about in his previous life. He was originally an orphan and his savings from when he was alive would probably be transferred to the orphanage that raised him. Therefore, after spending a lot of time, Su Ming accepted this identity in relief. He stood up and swayed as he wanted to walk around. However, he was quickly brought back to the wolf cubs by his mother, a gray and white female wolf. The young wolves that had just opened their eyes actually did not have the ability to move. They could only run freely when they were more than a month old. Among their siblings, Su Ming was the first to open his eyes. However, he could only look at the top of the cave and silently think about his future. Although he had the wolves to provide food now, he would follow the wolves to hunt when he was 3 months old. At that time, he would have to rely on his own ability to eat as much as he could, not to mention that he might have to leave the pack and establish his own territory after becoming an adult. In that case, having a strong body would be Su Ming's main goal. Creak. Suddenly, a sound came from outside the cave, interrupting Su Ming's thoughts and making him look towards the cave entrance. Not only Su Ming, but the two female wolves guarding the cave also looked towards the source of the sound. In the dense forest outside the cave, 3 gray wolves walked out. The one in the lead was even taller, more majestic, and stronger than the 2 companions beside it. Its eyes were silver-white and flickered with a soul-stirring cold light. It was the leader of Su Ming's wolf pack and his father in this life. On both sides of Father Wolf were Su Ming's brothers. They were born a year earlier than Su Ming and followed Father Wolf to provide food for the pack. Generally speaking, gray wolves could give birth to 4 to 7 cubs in a single birth. However, there were only 2 young wolves in the previous generation. From this, it could be seen how cruel this protected environment was. This was also the reason why the wolves were in a hurry to give birth to more wolves, including Su Ming. It was to make up for the loss of the first-generation members of the wolf pack. At the same time, this also meant that the wolf pack had previously experienced a huge battle. Father Wolf and the other 2 wolves dragged the prey they had hunted today to the entrance of the cave. Su Ming's mother, one of the 2 wolves guarding the cave, went forward to lick Father Wolf's fur after seeing the other party walk over. The other female wolf stayed outside and did not dare to approach the 2. This situation was caused by the special class mechanism of the wolf pack. Generally speaking, wolves had 3 grades. The ones ranked first were the alpha wolves, also known as the leader couple. They were in charge of the males and females in the pack. The beta wolves were in existence second only to the alphas in the pack. It was usually the brother and sister of the leader couple. The third were the omega wolves. These wolves had the lowest level in the wolf pack and would be teased by other gray wolves. They were all weaker gray wolves. In the eyes of the other wolf that was guarding the cave, Su Ming's mother was a high-level gray wolf and its superior. It naturally could not disturb the intimate moment of the two alpha wolves. If not for the fact that a large number of wolves had died this time, it would not have been able to obtain Father Wolf's blessing. After some intimacy, Mother Wolf looked at the corpse of the northern mountain goat with desire. The female wolves who were in charge of feeding the wolf cubs urgently needed a large amount of meat. Father Wolf was also very reasonable about Mother Wolf's needs. Roar. After roaring, Father Wolf was the first to eat the goat's corpse. Mother Wolf also followed closely behind. Only when they were almost done eating did the other gray wolves dare to go forward and eat. Soon, the two female wolves that had finished eating licked the blood from the corner of their mouths and arrived beside the wolf cubs. They lay on their sides and began to feed them. With the advantage of his physique and open eyes, Su Ming easily occupied the most comfortable position. After enjoying the perfect milk, he immediately fell asleep again. At dusk, near night, when Su Ming woke up again, the sun was about to set. The sunlight shone into the cave, adding a trace of light to this dark environment. Su Ming, who was not completely awake, yawned loudly. A large number of chewing sounds at the entrance of the cave attracted his attention. Su Ming followed the sound and looked at the wolf pack in front of him. At this moment, the wolves were surrounding the remaining goats in the afternoon. They were eating happily. As for the other wolf cubs Su Ming had been laying with, they had already woken up and were howling for food. Hearing the sound, the female wolves quickly finished eating and walked to their side to feed them. After enjoying the milk again, Su Ming lay on the grass and stretched his limbs diligently. He wanted to learn to walk as soon as possible so that he could build a good foundation for the future. In the following time, Su Ming would get up occasionally, doing various exercises. The female wolves guarding the side ignored Su Ming's strange actions as long as he did not walk out of the wolf den. Soon, it was night. Su Ming, who was doing various exercises, finally lay on the hay exhausted. Bright moonlight shone in through the cave entrance and projected onto the wolves and Su Ming. Lying in this bright moonlight, Su Ming's hair became even more snow-white. A comfortable feeling spread from his body, accompanied by waves of heat. Actually, long before he opened his eyes, Su Ming had this feeling every day. However, it was only today that he understood that it was because of the moonlight. The longer the moonlight shone, the more Su Ming could sense the heat in his body constantly increasing. Although he did not know what effect this had, it was definitely not harmful to him. At midnight, the moonlight gradually dissipated. Su Ming heaved a sigh of relief. The feeling just now was really too awesome, so much so that he had forgotten to sleep. At the same time, the heat lingering in his body also reached its peak. This energy began to focus in Su Ming's eyes and finally erupted. A large dazzling white light appeared in front of him and gradually gathered, forming a translucent panel with ASCII field. Name: Su Ming, species: Huaxia wolf, infant, gray wolf subspecies, strength 3.4/10 agility, 3.7/10 ability. None, known evolution path, 1. Kenai Peninsula wolf 2. Newfoundland white wolf 3. Michigan Valley wolf. Note 1. The Huaxia wolves of the gray wolf subspecies are of medium size. Their average body length is 1 to 1.2 meters, and their shoulder height is 0.67 to 0.76 meters. Note 2. The strength and agility of ordinary beasts are limited to 10 points. Above this, one will break through the original species limit and reach the supernatural level. Listen to the full novel at famvetv.info, direct link in the description.